Hey, thanks for tuning in or clicking on this third video in the series I'm doing on quality of life. Every month taking one aspect of quality of life, digging a little bit deeper. Today we're going to talk about positive experiences, and if you watched last month, if you didn't, you can pause it and do this now. But the homework I gave was asking you to just make a list of 10 or 20 things that you would say, these are positive experiences for me, whether big, like buying a car, or small, just eating in a restaurant I enjoy. Things that you would say, these are positive experiences, and we're going to take those and kind of categorize them. Because, as I've said before, quality of life is determined by our experiences. Now, before we get into this, there's something I want to clarify, because I watched last month's video, and I made some statements about nonprofit organizations that really should have been given a little bit more explanation. I said that nonprofit organizations, of which I'm a part, I work for one, don't always help people get a positive quality of life. What I mean by that is a lot of times if somebody has an overriding or repeat or predominant negative aspect or negative experience in their life, it's going to be hard for positive experiences to build a positive quality of life. Because when I talk about scale, you don't rate quality of life 1 to 5 or 1 to 10, so to speak. It would be more like -2 to +2, because you could have a negative quality of life. For example, say someone is homeless, and you or I go up to them and we buy them a meal, or we provide them a meal, we give them food. That would be a positive experience. Being given food, being able to eat is a positive experience. But that positive experience is going to be minimal, and it's going to be short-lived for them because they have this overriding negative experience of being homeless. They don't know where they're going to sleep that night or live the next day. You know, they may be in the elements, bad weather or something. And so until a nonprofit or a ministry comes along and provides for them shelter, provides for them somewhere to stay, or helps them get to the point where they can provide those things for themselves, they're going to have this big negative experience hanging over their life that negates all those positive ones. So it's kind of like we need those nonprofits and ministries to come in and kind of help people get to zero before then they can build on those positive experiences. So thinking of positive experiences, I asked you to list those, and I want to throw up here a framework. Now, I did not come up with this framework. A very smart man by the name of Dr. Brian Kemp is an author, and researcher, and psychologist. He came up with this, and it made a lot of sense to me. So I'm just going to go with it. He says that our quality or our positive experiences fall into one of these 3 categories: pleasure, success, and then he uses the word purpose. I like the term meaning. They both mean the same thing. But he says the positive experiences we have fall into one of these 3. And perhaps these are self-descriptive. They don't require a lot of help, but pleasure are the things that bring us pleasure, that we would say, well, this is fun. And this may be the easiest to categorize things under, but it's the things that we enjoy, whether it's a physical experience, whether it's just kind of the things that your mind say, oh, I really enjoy this, it's being active. Success then is when we think in terms of goals, or we reach accomplishments or milestones. And then meaning and purpose are when we're thinking beyond ourselves. You know, it's kind of sometimes that reflective legacy spirituality element. And so your list and mine can fall into one of these 3 things. And sometimes there can be overlap as well. So I was thinking about this. I knew I was going to be making this video a couple days ago when I took my 2-year-old daughter to the park. And I was aware of this, so I began to realize what was going on in my mind. First of all, it was a pleasurable experience. That's the easiest to categorize. It was a beautiful day. We were at the park. I enjoyed being there. There was other people there. We'd actually met some friends. Pleasurable, good experience. Then, because I was in this mindset, I started thinking in terms of this success, that I was glad we had this park. It's close to my house. I'm proud of our city for giving us a good public park system. They've recently done some upgrades to our parks. There's the opportunity to expand our public parks. The location we were at was clean, it was safe, and so I was proud and felt successful because I was a part of that community. And then meaning and purpose, because I was watching my daughter have a blast. She was having so much fun running and jumping and sliding and playing with friends and making new friends. I mean, her pleasure meter was at 100. And so I felt like I was contributing to that. I was helping to enhance her life. And in that moment, it felt meaningful to me. And so here what looked like one experience really got to count for multiple positive experiences for me. And so I want to help us to be able to capture those because sometimes things happen and we don't, bank them, so to speak, as the positive experiences that they could be. So perhaps this helps you get better ideas or classify the ones you've already had, but I just wanted to end with a couple of other possible ideas that fall into each of these categories to get you thinking and going. So under pleasure, going to a party. If you're a social, outgoing person, that would be a fun, enjoyable, pleasurable thing for you. Vacation or traveling, or even on a smaller scale, just taking a drive, going and looking at leaves when they change. Participating in a hobby, eating a good meal, watching TV. Again, these things we do every single day can count as positive experiences if we will just be in that mindset and we'll kind of recognize them so that we get the physical aspect, but also the mental and the emotional aspect as well. Under success, job advancement, effective communication. I mean, things such as job advancements and these huge milestones, they're not going to happen every single day. And so sometimes it's just the act of doing something skillfully, of doing something well, of getting to operate out of your strength or finding what that strength is or learning something new or accomplishing something that you tried to do. And so things such as communicating effectively can add to the successful positive experience. Mastering a new task, playing sports, playing board games, winning at something. And then for purpose, helping someone. Again, that idea of looking beyond yourself, contributing to the good of somebody else. Writing in a journal, political advocacy, taking up a cause, volunteering, giving of yourself, attending worship, visiting a graveyard, or creating a life vision or mission statement for yourself. And it's important that we have all of these at one time or another, or we have parts of all of them at our life at any given time. What Dr. Kim's research showed, though, that I found was really interesting is that as we age and mature, we move down this list in focus. For example, when we're youngest, we focus on the pleasure a lot. We focus on the things that we like and enjoy or fun, and then we get a little bit older and we start thinking in terms of goals and success. We learn what we're good at and we try and do that and feel pleasure out of doing it well. We get an education, we begin to get a vision for our life. And we think, well, I want to get this job, and then you do, and I want to finish my education, and you do, and I want to make this income, and you do. And so we begin to focus on success, whether in career or just with family or socially. And then we age a little bit more, and we mature more, and we begin to think beyond ourselves. Well, how do I help those coming behind me? How do I then be a part of something that's going to live longer than I am? How do I give of myself? How do I become a part of something bigger? And so I thought that was an interesting aspect to the research done on this. But like I said, all of these have to be in place at one time. You may have heard me talk about positive experiences, and you may say, Aaron, I hear you saying that, but I do a lot of positive things. I have good things in my life, and I don't really feel... Well, maybe you're loading up on these, but every once in a while you need to think about this, or you need to have something that helps you feel successful. So we need a balance, but it makes sense that as we go through life, the focus, or what we give most of our time and attention to, would change. So again, hopefully this framework helps you better understand positive experiences and how to capture all of the potential positive experiences in your life. And next month we will talk about negative experiences, how in the same way those can kind of be stockpiled and us have multiple at the same time.